In DC's new Absolute Universe, Diana is a warrior forged in hell by Cersei and forbidden by the gods of Olympus from becoming an Amazon. This version of Wonder Woman even has a skeletal Pegasus, can wield magic, and carries a massive sword. I'm Andrew, the Geek Master, and in this video we're diving into the origin of Absolute Wonder Woman. If you don't want to miss stories like this, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let's get started. The story begins in Gateway City, California. We see a group of journalists, completely terrified as they watch something bizarre appear over the city. It's a strange flying object, pyramid-shaped, hovering over the ocean. The reporter immediately goes live, broadcasting about the unidentified object, throwing everyone into a panic. Then, out of nowhere, monstrous flying creatures start emerging from this object, attacking defenseless civilians who try to protect themselves however they can. Fortunately, this is when a warrior, riding a skeletal Pegasus, shows up. She pulls a massive sword from a small pouch at her waist and begins brutally slashing the creatures apart. As she fights off the monsters, the cameraman captures everything live on TV, leaving viewers stunned by the warrior's fierce moves. Meanwhile, as Wonder Woman battles, the narration reminds us that as a princess, she's always had everything: beauty, grace, compassion, kindness, and wisdom. But beyond that, she had the power to outrun a hellhound and summon the darkest magic, a skill every princess needs when she's raised in hell. Yes, unlike DC's main universe Wonder Woman, this version wasn't raised on Paradise Island. Instead, she was raised in hell, and we're about to learn more. What you need to know is that during the fight, Diana used magic, clashing her bracelets together and wiping out all the monsters instantly. Then we flash back to many years ago to explore this Wonder Woman's origin. Back then, there was a place called Hell Island, which served as the prison of the great sorceress Cersei. Cersei herself narrates this part of the story, revealing that she was once a queen, but is now just a prisoner on this desolate island. One day, she's visited by Apollo, the Greek god of the sun. Defiant as ever, Cersei refuses to bow to him, which makes Apollo understand why she's imprisoned. Regardless, Apollo presents her with a beautiful baby girl with black hair and blue eyes, leaving Cersei curious about what's going on. Apollo explains that the child's name is Diana, princess of Themyscira and the last of the Amazons. The baby was cast into hell by Zeus, the ruler of Olympus, as punishment for all Amazons. She must never be reunited with her Amazon sisters as long as they continue to serve Zeus. On top of that, Cersei is forbidden from ever speaking the word Amazon to Diana, and to ensure this, Apollo uses his powers to physically banish the word. Cersei tries to say Amazon, but she can't. Naturally, Cersei knows that raising a baby in hell is extremely dangerous and asks what will happen to her if Diana dies. Coldly, Apollo replies that the gods don't care, that this is where she belongs now for as long as it takes. With that, Apollo leaves, and the truth is, Cersei doesn't really know what to do with the child. She's not a mother. She figures this thing will raise itself, although she's pretty sure the baby won't survive in this place. She even allows a fiery snake to get close to Diana, thinking it'll be the end of her. But just like in the story of Hercules, Diana simply grabs the snake and throws it aside, leaving Cersei quite impressed. It's at that moment the sorceress decides to care for the baby and become her mother. But one thing was clear. Diana was always a good girl. For example, in one scene, a fire lizard approaches and blows a stream of flames at the little one. Annoyed, Diana grabs the lizard, but instead of hurting it, she simply kisses it. After that, we see a time lapse showing Diana growing up, learning to speak, and Cersei noting that no creature ever scared her. Many monsters tried to kill her, but none succeeded. Diana was so kind and loving that even the monsters of hell grew fond of her, and even the ruthless Cersei grew to love her. As Diana grew older, Cersei taught her lessons, values, and even magic. However, when Diana became an adult, Cersei tells us that the greatest act of love in raising a child is letting them go. And that's what she did with Diana. Then we return to the present, where it's confirmed that Wonder Woman completely wiped out that army of flying creatures. She sends her skeletal Pegasus to check the perimeter while she speaks to a soldier who's in total shock after everything he's witnessed. Diana instructs him and the other soldiers to evacuate the civilians because those creatures aren't dead, just paralyzed. This attack was merely a preview of what's coming. At this point, Diana notices strange activity coming from the pyramid. She once again orders them to evacuate the civilians and leave as quickly as possible because they're running out of time. Sure enough, a gigantic creature called Harbinger Prime emerges from the pyramid. It looks like the monsters Diana just defeated, and she directly tells the creature that she's not backing down. She reveals that her giant sword is Athena's blade, forged by Hephaestus himself, and that her personal mission is to protect this world. However, the gigantic monster couldn't care less and blasts Diana with a powerful energy beam. She defends herself by putting her sword in front of her. As she struggles to hold her ground against the attack, she calls out to her Pegasus, which swoops in to help, breathing fire at the monster. When the creature turns its attention to the Pegasus, Diana knows this is her chance to act. She rushes toward the monster, touches its legs, and begins casting some kind of magic. But unfortunately, the creature senses her touch and shoots lasers from its eyes, hitting the warrior princess directly. As Wonder Woman regains her footing, Harbinger Prime roars, and suddenly, all the smaller monsters that had been incapacitated come back to life, much to Diana's dismay. Now she has to deal not only with the giant monster, but with all the others attacking her as well. Harbinger Prime fires its lasers again, but Diana, showing incredible speed and agility, manages to dodge. Eventually, she gets tired of running and uses her bracelets to reflect the laser right back at the monster. However, this only enrages the massive creature even more. It fires an even more powerful blast, sending Diana flying out of the battle. At this moment, the story cuts to another flashback, showing a crucial conversation between the adult Diana and Cersei. Diana calls her mother over to talk about a word that's come to her mind, but that she's afraid to say out loud. Cersei tells her daughter that she shouldn't fear the word itself, but rather the changes it will bring to her life. Still, Diana finds it strange that she knows a word she's never heard before. Cersei encourages her to speak it aloud so Diana can understand who she truly is. Encouraged by her mother, Diana says the word, Amazon. With that, Cersei reveals the truth to her daughter, that Diana is, in fact, an Amazon. But Cersei herself is unable to utter the word because the god Apollo banished it from her being. As Diana grapples with this shocking revelation, Cersei also explains that the Amazons had an essential role. They protected the world above from the ancient creatures that sought only to devour it. Without the Amazons, the world above would have never made it this far. Without them, perhaps this is the end. From that moment, Diana repeatedly admitted to herself that she was an Amazon and that she would save the world. Returning to the present, Diana stands up. Even with Harbinger Prime insisting that she has no chance against him, Diana refuses to back down. She begins to levitate, clearly filled with rage, and uses a lasso, not golden but red, another item given to her by Cersei. All of Diana's weapons were gifts from Cersei. With that, Diana finally introduces herself. Diana of Themyscira, the last of the Amazons, daughter of Cersei, princess of Hell, witch of the Wild Isle. And as long as she breathes, no creature will rule this world. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'd love to hear what you think about this new Wonder Woman's origin in DC's Absolute Universe. To see the continuation, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and leave a like to support us. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next adventure.